And your donation. I hope in your donations. Thanks, somebody. Where's the train? Ups, can you find the train? I can't find the train. There's too many brandings loaded. We've overloaded. I've been wanting to record a skit, but I haven't done, so I'm going to perform it as a rehearsal now. It goes like this. Whoa! You know, because if we accentuate what's going on our insides when we're experiencing the deep psychological programming, it's comical. Programming. It's comical.
Deep psychological programming.
Yeah, it's supernormal stimuli. You're familiar as a person in academia with the concept, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, stimuli, and us being us scientist folks, we can Beauregard strawberry it down into the essence of the essence of the essence of the stimuli, and that's super normal. Like, you have to have resistance to mind control to not be suckered into it. And
Yeah. No, that makes me think of like these ash line surveys where it's like if you get people together in a group and they you can get people to say that two lines that are clearly a very different length are the same length because if this need
they'd rather not be an outcast.
Don't want to be an outcast. That's it. Yeah, that's a real thing. It's a beautiful space. I think people are really full of heart and full of hope, which I think is unusual in the United States right now. And they're coming together in a way that, I mean, I'm giving away the plot here, but people are coming together here in a way that they don't come together almost anywhere else. And then they're finding ways to come together in real life too. I think it's huge. I think it's transformative. I think it's going to change the world. I'm on a soapbox now. I don't know.
Well, that was great. That was Clara and Buddy. Joe on that beautiful note. Held together by hope and your donations.
So say we all. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Ho, ho, ho.
Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. So say we all. Whoa, howdy, everybody. You can make this guy as an emoji if you're one of them fancy channel member Shadow Cabals. This is the first draft kayfabe stream, the Sacred Larp, ? And yes, though no one called me out on it, I really didn't cover Fisher of Beasts at all the other day. So that thumbnail still exists. But today is the first draft kayfabe stream. I had every intention of not at all streaming today. And then Kale hit me up and said, man, I need some saving throws. And I was like, well, I guess I'm streaming today. So first draft kayfabe, it's going to be a primarily adjunct professing stream from the recent Paul Vanderklay morning drop, plus what I was watching last night. It's very fascinating. Hey!
I believe that if everyone sees what just a few people become when they wholly embrace their gifts, others will awaken.
So here to then, theretofore are those said therefore. What? You said therefore. Stop it. Just show the hat. What? Yes, if he gets savings throws, you get to show that the hat is still on remarkable sale. I can't believe you marked it down so much. You get like, what, 4 cents on it now? Maybe, but you can wear a denim or Denny on your head. He looks like this. He's Kale's kryptonite. So there's some kryptonite before the savings throws. Now here's those ones you wanted. You get to pick between survival, social, wisdom, or heart. If you do it in the Hive Mind chat, you get a +2 for Hive Mind chat talking. Your choice. I roll the die. If it's over 10, you take half damage from the mind control. It follows. If it's under 10, you take full damage, but you take full damage if you don't make a savings throw or choose. So you might as well choose. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart, and survival out the box with a 4. Socialist coming in strong with the number of transformation. I think my thumb bumped it. Prime 17 for the wisdom folks, but the heart guys did make it today, with also pairing up with a number of transformation 11 disciples for the Indigo kids. Welcome, everybody. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone, because all the other people are. Why aren't you?
We are a test tube creation. Somebody has created us, and whoever that somebody is looks like us. So they have taken those Neanderthal and the ancient hominid creatures, which the world is filled with them. We know they're there because we're finding them everywhere, but they don't look like us. So we are a special creation, which is why the Bible says in Genesis, the gods says, come, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Because for being so great, it's not that great. A bunch of hairy people out there eating each other and living like animals. So let's take one of the females and procreate with her and see what comes out of a connection between the gods and...
Okay. Oh, you left the thing up.
Keep it coming. Never know, I'll never die. I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
The Sacred Larp, first draft kayfabe stream. I'm Grim Grizz, General Griswold Gaius Grim, the first Larp Ingression Protocol. Thank you very much. And member of the Sacred Order, not Brotherhood, of Foolish Transparency. Hello. I see the assassins have failed. Let's see where you were going to say a thing. Oh, yes. Look there. Casino deck card of the show is the Ace of Spades. That's always fun. That's this deck. We had a thing from Afrio Pilotson over there. And as you can see there, look, one of these things. You can make one. If you click the link at the top of the Hive Mind there, and it makes this number go up. And this number is the goal of what I think I need now that we're less than a month away to make it to Encountering Face to Face, a 3-day conference in Olympia, Washington, hosted by Grail Country. Double checks. No, he hasn't gotten back to me, son of a. Okay. That's where these great speakers, Dr. Michael Martin, Paul Vanderklay, Dr. Chris Green, Karen Wong, Rafe Kelly, and Graham Pardoon can estuary with you face to face. What's that? Read there. Where's it at? Right there. Hosted by Grail Country. Basic ticket, $200. Want a barbecue on Thursday too? Only $100 more. And then if you have a super secret special code, like the one we're unlocking at the top of the Hive Mind over there, you can go in there and click this there, and then put that code in, and it'll give you the special secret ticket to the birthday party on Sunday. Regular attendance to the event, I don't think is required. If you have the ticket. Hey, Matt, good to see you. What, Alan? What's an Alan? And then, also, much like in the Chino days, we're doing a fancy camping thing this time. As you can see there at the top, the camping package. 3 nights of lodging. We give you a tent and a sleeping bag. Plus, I'm there. There's a campfire if I'm there. We think we're only at 2%, but I'm probably gonna get there. Banana. Adai the Apostle is the official Stephen D20 saint for the Ace of Spades. Remember it.
This see. We walk past.
Good old Matt Krotz, the only comic guy who's ever made a comic of me, by gum in history, says, does camping come with a free hobo shanty? Yes, maybe. Maybe it comes with several, because I think what we ought to do is bring your own shanty to the campfire, and we will have the battle of shanties at the campfire, and then maybe a special shantying at the last day of the event. No, the tent is not tinfoil, Thomas, and we use EMF beanies now. Get with it. Is there a hobo boxcar on site? No, it's an official campground regulated by the state of Washington, as I understand it. Welcome, everybody. This is the First Draft Kayfabe stream, the Sacred Larp, and we will begin the adjunct professing right after this.
This is Paul, and just a little quick video.
All these forces they don't understand. The fact that there's war coming, all these things, they don't even know what they're doing. And yet, they're already playing the game.
That's what it's all about.
That our tools were small enough and around long enough that we could actually play with them and experiment with them and get to know them and learn to think outside the box. Is that everybody there was thinking outside the box because we'd all come from outside the box. Everybody talks about thinking outside the box. They go inside the box and tell everybody in there that they should learn to think outside the box. If you really want people to think outside the box, go find people who are from outside the box, because those people can't think anywhere but outside the box. That's where we were, all of us to one extent or another in those days. It's not where we are now.
There's a reality that you and Paul touch on when it comes to like people getting what they need versus what they want, that you and Paul kind of see pretty clearly, and I'm trying to learn how to see that way too.
Oh, That's my faith in the arenic nature of the agency. Hello and welcome. Here we are. We're going to do the adjunct professing now. In case you were curious, today's adjunct professing is on Pastor Paul's video. Would you rather grow up in Satanism or Westboro Baptist land? Are these the only options? And I think he probably should have did would you rather as a hashtag, right? That's probably how that should have went. Blue Church, then, therefore, card of the show is the 9. That's 9 of the hearts. You see 4 and 4 and 1? That's 9 of hearts. That's the Blue Church card of the show. What's your first timestamp there, man? It's not that, this.
Can sort of measure, oh, your heart is moving this amount. Our engagement, our transjective engagement with the world is so much more mysterious. And these elements of stories, and Peterson, of course, will talk about archetypes, and these elements of stories within the culture deeply impact us in terms of our stability and calibration of how to operate in the world.
Life, we might experience something horrific or something amazing, and it is only later in which we recognize the significance of this thing, right? But the reason why we are drawn to story, and the reason why we are drawn to art, is that in these moments, we can bring these two things together, which would have, and some people, even McKee calls it, somewhat ironically, because he's, a religious experience, right? And a story well told is, in fact, a kind of religious experience, especially when we find that it resonates deeply within us. Okay, so this idea of story, then, is uniquely religious. Okay, so let's get to...
What's that there? Why, that's the second episode from Kale's Defense Against the Dark Arts, low discount priced, Into the Heart of Darkness class. You'd really love it if you stopped on over at his Substack to support the effort. If you want to, if you're taking the class and you want to pay for it, subscription is the way. I believe he's taking that right now. But the class is over here, and he asks important things like
a kind of
like just these questions. What do we see and hear? Why are we being told a story by a character in the story? Because you're part of the story too. There is no fourth wall.
I think the truth that we can hold is that's methodical truth. That's the truth that can be generated from a method. I think the truth that you're pointing to, the truth that seeks unity and seeks to be one with and participate in, which you're, I think, rightly talking about as love, and of course, relevance realization always involves caring, and I won't repeat that argument. I think that's all correct. But for example, all of those sort of dimensions, interpretation, inspiration, intuition, insight, right? Each one of those has in it exactly what you said. It has love, there's a leap in it. And there's a love of something that is not, so there's almost something like a bit of a Pauline notion of faith. There's a love of something that is not yet fully disclosed, right? Each one of those, and see, and that's that's the daemonic, that's the metaxu, that's the in-betweenness, right? And it's weird because like Hermes or Thoth or Hanuman or Michael, that's the locus of, they're in that weird place where there's an other that's me in self-transcendence. And it's a way in which I'm loving a self I'm not yet, but it's not egocentric because I'm loving a self that is in more conformity to what is real. So I'm also loving through that future self what is more real, right?
And more you.
Well, that's the thing. It's simultaneously other than I am now. So it's all about L.A. Paul's the problem, the paradox of transformative experience, or Galen's, if it's other than the self, it can't be self-transcendence, and if it's real and if it's from the self, it's just growth. It's not transcendence. And no, that's the thing. It's dialogical, right? There's an other that is me, right? That takes me to be an other that I am now that turns out to be more me, but is more me because it's that person is participating more in reality.
All right, turns out, whoa, if you enjoy getting a free education through the YouTubes, I got to give a special shout out to Tim over here at Tim Fletcher. Tim Fletcher, I should probably subscribe. The algorithm feeds them to me plenty. Here's one.
So yes, welcome to Getting Wrecked with Tim on Friday night.
It's a good time. It's a good time. I meant this part here that I played for you was the wrong bit. Here's what I was supposed to play before the kale part. Okay.
So they're messing around with all of these images. They're messing around with Da Vinci's Lord's Supper. But okay, so when Da Vinci made the Lord's Supper and put it in that little church in Milan, he was messing with things too. And part of what happens in a sort of an image-based culture is that every generation of artists comes along and starts messing with the different things that are on the table, and civilization is sort of the ongoing conversation of all of these messing with images. But of course,
and then it was this
idea, right? This whole realm of the rational, the ideas come separately from emotion. But in the work of art, right, they fuse these two things together. Right, the notion of idea and emotion come together. That is why, when we see a beloved character die in a movie, let's say, it is a soaring moment of fusion of idea and emotion at the same time. But in life, those things hit us differently.
Okay, and then. How you guys doing? This is what day of the week is it even? Is it Wednesday? Is it hump day yet? I know it's not Thursday yet. I try and keep track. It's agency deck card of the show is the 3 of spades. Now where do we go? Well, you go from this furniture part. You have to play from Paul again. Okay, we do that then. Say furniture, Paul.
If you start, and Peugeot's been very good on this, if you start doing things like inverting images, you might say, well, these are people that they're playing around with these things, but we don't really know how it impacts, at least I don't know, I'm sure others know far better than I do, how this impacts people, because the furniture of the things around us and the expressions and the representations of the things around us sort of create for us a world, and we use these things to sort of calibrate the world and to try in one way or another to sort of maintain stability.
These things in this furniture that he's talking about, I was really disappointed that he didn't spin it into the intentionality network and background that we're using with since Wokel brought it to us. And I was consorting again with the ChatGPT demons yesterday because the subscription is not yet run out. And I asked it to pick a virtue and tell me about it. It chose resilience. And it goes, in summary, resilience is a virtue that deserves to be nurtured, as it is foundational to personal growth, collective progress, and the capacity to navigate the complexities of the human experience. And I said unto it, consider the background as an in-group term for the ever-changing landscape of human interaction. And then I said, who the hell's responsible for the other background, and what's the difference? And turns out the guy's name is John Searle from Intentionality, an essay in the philosophy of mind. That's where we're getting this background Wokel brought to us. And the bit that's in his actual background is a lot of the skill-based things, but he does do social norms as part of the background, and that's really the updating and mapping of the social norms is what's been torn asunder in our information deluge, as far as I can tell. And that made sense to somebody.
Yes, attention, attention.
Where we were going with this is that we've discovered what could be a potentially dangerous side effect of participating in and that is the subliminal over-sexualization of myself as demonstrated in this clip.
This is what evil looks behind the veil. You know, it looks like a guy who sort of looks like Grim Grizz in a white costume with some fancy wings and a Renaissance fair sword.
That the reference he's projecting onto the mind of all of his listeners is from this man's music video. And let me first explain to you that this is the expression on my face not only when I watch that video, but also when Paul says such things. This is the expression on my face, but this is the reference he was making. Where's the guy? Here, this fella. This guy here with the no, not that one. That. Just do it. Go to the right spot. Now you got to play branding. Look what you've done.
The list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast Magic Missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile. Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here. I'm attacking the darkness.
Oh, and now we're up to the, yeah, that's appropriate. So Paul's whole video here, he goes, let's see, the 3504, you say 3404, 3407, yeah. All right, what was? Oh, because Rod made that good point. This part. No, wait, make it normal speed for people. All right, stop it. Share the tab instead.
Like I went to elementary school with kids who were growing up in communes. Like I would visit, friends who were living in a commune, and a lot of the hippie culture and the hot tub culture literally sprouted in where I grew up. So I knew these people, right? And so I saw kind of like what Burn Power talks about, right? Like he's a little older, but he was there as a young adult and seeing the Haight-Ashbury district in San Francisco and the things that were happening. And so I'm much more familiar with people who've grown up with no religious traditions whatsoever. They would be completely lost.
Bing! And see this. Okay, well, note that this part reminded me of the Stranger Than Fiction video I was watching the other day about the actor from The Chosen and the secret Jesuit things, and how the guy in the Jesus Movement movie was baptizing people on LSD and stuff. And he said he had a quote about his time in Haight-Ashbury. But that's a note. And then we move on to show what Paul was doing, yeah, at 3650. 3650.
Can live at all after what her father and what her can, it's amazing this poor woman can live at all after what her father and what her father, how she was raised. But ironically, again, there's almost no story that I hear from someone that doesn't have at least some degree, and some of which has just horrendous degrees of suffering. And so interesting because she sort of tells her story. And so you kind of have Westboro Baptist, which is sort of the height of hardlineism Christianity. Take no prisoners. We are going to go all out in our culture war against these people. And when you listen to her and her story about, even the Westboro Baptist people, I mean, there's some not good stuff going on there. But at the same time, you also get the sense that she was loved and she was cared for. And they might Baptists have to. I'm super curious. I just threw a whole bunch of things up there at you. I'm super curious what people in the corner have to say about this, because again, there's this wave going through the church right now, which is not full-blown Westboro Baptist, but you almost get the sense, listening to some people, that they would rather be part of Westboro Baptist than maybe a nice little dying church down the street that loves one another.
And so we're looking at that brings us to the first draft kayfabe, where first drafts are what you're raised into, born into, grown up into as the seeds falling among the rocky soils, and what you get as a first draft. And my question is frankly, is that not the Sacred Larp? The kayfabe storyland protected safe universe we deceive children to believe they're growing up into, until the moment of the loss of innocence, as we historically have called it. And isn't that the most sacred kayfabe? Because as we're learning from fellows like this guy, the Tim Fletcher fellow with his results of shame. Here, grab the 33rd minute.
And it just keeps breaking down. But they won't let go. Some eventually say, well, it's going to break down eventually. I'm just going to move on to another affair. And this is where it gets really interesting, is a lot of people don't end the relationship and then sit there being a single person again. They get somebody else in the wings so that the day they end it, they can move on to the next one. So they're not alone.
Well, that's useful, but pretty irrelevant to the first draft kayfabe we're trying to talk about. Thanks, Tim. So, play something. Oh, do that one. Okay, we like that one.
It's a whisper in your ear. Now listen here. Remember, embody, it's all so clear. No hidden strings, no puppeteer. We're by your side, have no fear. I cherish truth. Remember, embody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you.
Okay. Let's talk. Hey, all right. Welcome. This is the Sacred Larp stream. So it's like this Tim Fletcher dude. He deals with addicts and victims of abuse and all psychological. And essentially, you start to see that the certain types of malformation during the first draft, rough draft formation, because of a failure of the kayfabe to provide the proper sense of security and environment for an upbringing plant person, the rest of society has to deal with the damage of that person's failed growing thing. And that's why I think the sacredest of LARPs might be the first draft kayfabe. And while Pastor Paul was exploring with us, would you rather grow up in Satanism or a Westboro Baptist church? giving the chief master, known master of kayfabe, I thought it was also interesting, perhaps, to look at thanks to the powers of the Stranger Than Fiction channel, which probably isn't going to be around long because it finds beautiful clips like this. What about growing up in this family?
Big fan of humiliation, so he developed the Kiss My Ass Club, where a total of 6 men were forced to get on their knees and kiss his backside in front of millions of people. Most of the time, this was to save their job, or just to embarrass them on a power trip. I should also note that Vince gave the world the satisfaction of being humiliated, as he scripted himself getting his face shoved in Rikishi and the Big Show's backsides. But as time went on, and wrestlers spoke about their behind-the-scenes experiences, and Vince McMahon being accused of sexual assault and trafficking women, some of these storylines felt more like a glimpse into the reality of Vince McMahon's private life. Vince often used his daughter, Stephanie, for his dark storylines, probably because her loyalty convinced her to never say no to him. Like when she was going to get married in the ring to her fiancé Test, only for Triple H to interrupt the wedding with a video of himself drugging, kidnapping, marrying, and then sleeping with Stephanie.
Yeah, it's deep fun, and he likes to show the Trump connections for some reason, as if it's relevant. Fun guy. But there's a horror story of a failure of first craft kayfabe, if I've ever heard one. That video is full of stuff that you don't want to know. You don't want to know, really. Also, I think I touch on the importance of the first draft kayfabe in my upcoming, to be released, we hope, conversation with Karen.
Hello, everybody. This is Karen at The Meaning Code, where we explore the structures of the universe to discover the metaphors that uncover the hidden reality.
Where over on X, she's quoting, over on X, she's quoting Pajot in a quote that I think is relevant to today's theme. Our Babel moment is the opportunity to remember what is most important, to prune that which is irrelevant, and to synthesize that which has brought us together through the ages. Those who succeed in that venture will be the secret founders of a world that might not remember them, but that nonetheless will be born in the shadow of their great efforts. And I simply propose that the shadowist of our great efforts is perhaps the first draft kayfabe, or the sacred LARP that protects the innocence of children until they're old enough to not be traumatized by how bad the world really is.
So say we all. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Ho, ho, ho.
And then, let's see. Do you guys seem to have been saying some things? Let's see what those were.
Now, what'll that asshole think of next? Is anybody got a dime?
I listen to him. I think he is telling us the truth. That is indeed what he wants. Those of you who are sort of sniffing for duplicity or grift or dishonesty, I don't smell any of that here. I think he's telling us. I see this guy. I see both of these guys, but I see this guy as being very, very genuine and honest. He is telling us exactly what he thinks.
All right. Well, we got the external validation from Rod Hare over there. He likes it, and that's good enough for me for a show for today. Special thanks to the contributors to the unlocking of the VIP gas money and the final seat at the table. We still have seats 7 and 8 who have been unassigned. We don't have anybody claiming or wanting them, apparently. I don't know what to do about that, but we do have 2 unlocked codes. Inquire within for more. Until next time, everybody, enjoy them saving throws. Train.